Hi everybody, take two. We're gonna try this again today. I think I've got the whole flip. I can see that you can read Norway well, so that's good. Up on my, everything yesterday was backwards, upside down. The video was going the wrong way, and I don't know if it was frustrating to you, but it was absolutely frustrating to me. So I want to do another very clean video for you guys so that you can really see how gorgeous these cards are. And I've done most of the pre-cutting. If you watched yesterday, don't feel obligated to watch again unless you want to see everything the right way. And I just wanted a really clean, nice video to share in my newsletter and on YouTube. So that is what this is all about. So I made 3 beautiful cards yesterday, but Facebook would not let me turn and flip so that it was going the right way. I'm hoping it will cooperate with me today. We'll see. I found a secret button that wasn't there yesterday, or maybe it was and I didn't know it was there because it was secret. So I want to get started. So I'm going to move my camera. Let's see if it'll cooperate here. I don't think it's going to. Maybe it will. Here. I don't think it'll help me flip it the way I want to flip it, but I'm going to go ahead and flip this down like that. I still might have to look at that. It is not cooperating again. Can you see it if I go that way, or is it still backwards? Still backwards. Well, darn it, you guys. I tried. I don't know why it is acting so. Maybe let's flip it back. Let's see if I do this now. At least if I go, let's see here. If I go upside there, that's better. That's at least better than yesterday, right? At least you can see that. If I can still stamp upside down, at least you can see everything the right way and not backwards. So there we go. We're using the Timeless Arrangement stamp set and the die set that goes with it. These are the spotlights of today's cards, these 2 sets right here. I'm using the Stylish Shapes dies. If you don't have Stylish Shapes, you really need them. And I am using the Petal Patterns Duo die. I'm really only using the detailed one, but aren't these cool? And so you get a more solid cut image that has a very detailed dotted embossing on it. And a more detailed die like this. We're only using this one today, but I wanted to show you how they look when they're combined together. So this is the detailed die. This is the one that I'm using today. And then this is the more solid pattern. And it's designed so that you can use them separately if you want, or this detailed die fits exactly on top of that more solid die, and you get a very intricate die pattern when you put those together. So I purposely cut these out in 2 different colors so that you could really see that. So we're using those today as well. We're also using the 6x6 color pack of in color paper. This is the Wild Wheat, the Pebbled Path, the Moody Mauve, the Copper Clay, and the Boho Blue. So you just get an assortment of really simple patterns that you can use with any cards. We're going to be using the Moody Mauve today in that. And then this is a paper pack called Delightfully Eclectic. And I showed this yesterday, but you get just fun patterns that go with multiple sets that are in the main catalog. You get some neat patterns, some stripes, some florals, some hearts. This is really cute with that typewriter set, that stamp set that's in the catalog. This looks good with those duo punches that are in the textured florals. You get the daisies, you get the lemons, the Earth and Elegance. Strawberries are fun, big dots, flowers. Just, I love that purple, bold purple print there. So anyway, there you go. That is called Delightfully Eclectic. You get 48 sheets, so it's a double pack, and the cost of that is $30 for that double pack. All right? Okay, and of course we're using the annual catalog. So Timeless Arrangements, which is what I'm using today, is on page 67. You can get the bundle, the stamp set and the dies for $54. And then the petal patterns, here's the Delightfully Eclectic paper on page 129. And then the petal patterns is at the bottom of page 165 right there. Those are the dies that we are using mostly today. Okay, so yesterday I made 3 cards. I'm going to show them to you again. This one is the wow card. This was the last one I did with you guys. Isn't that beautiful? And then this one is kind of a fun side opening fun fold that I did with you. And then this one is the petal pink with that daisy paper from that Delightfully Eclectic. And we did a little fun little inside with that. So I'm going to quickly do these cards for you again. Hopefully you'll get a little better idea, and I will be less flustered about the fact that I still wish I could flip it over again so that I don't have to go upside down. But you know what? It's all going to be okay. We're going to go with it. At least it's better than yesterday, right? Okay. So I have a piece of petal pink that's 4 1/4 by 11, and I scored it in half at 5 1/2. I cut a medium-sized label from the dies in the Timeless Arrangement. So you get 3 labels. You get a large, a medium, and a small. This card is using that medium one. I cut 2 of these bows, and the cool thing about this is the bows are on this bar, and that allows you to like really easily attach it to the bottom of the label, which is a really nice feature. I cut a piece of cardstock at 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, and I ran it through our dotted embossing folder. This one comes in a group of 3 in the online exclusive store, and they're all awesome. I just really love this dotted one. And then I cut a piece of that daisy paper from the Delightfully Eclectic, and I cut it 4 by 5 1/4. So let's get started. This one is super easy to put together. I'm going to grab my bone folder and get a really nice crisp fold on this top of this card. Okay. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back. I love cards that are super quick and easy to put together because you can make a bunch of them really fast. So when my husband says, hey, I need a card for my secretary today, I can get that out and ready in a jiffy, which is always fun. Okay, so I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back that allows me to slide this around, and it's really good when you're using an embossed piece, because when you press that seal into it, it can press out the embossing, which is something we don't want, right? Okay, so I have that medium-sized label. I'm going to bring in my foam mat, because this is really nice when we're stamping with photopolymer ink. And I'm going to stamp this with "Your kindness means everything to me." Super pretty font on this one. And I'm doing this in garden green ink. There we go. How lovely is that? I'm going to add my little bows here, and I cut this out of crushed curry ink. So I'm starting with this one because I knew I wanted one that kind of goes off the edge and one that goes straight down. So I'm just going to add some adhesive here to the back side of this. and just put that on kind of wherever I want it. I think I want it about right there. And then this one, when you try to put it on, it kind of overlaps. Do you see that? So I'm not going to worry about this end right here. I'm just going to cut that right off. And I want a third one because you know I like even numbers. And I'm going to put that little bow right in the center of the other two there so that we have 3 of them. There we go. So pretty, right? I'm going to attach this to the front of my card with dimensionals. We use these little edges here on this one. Do you guys even use the edges on your labels? I do. I like to use every single little piece. Okay, so I'm going to pull that off and lay that right in the center right there. There we go. And then I have some white baker's twine that I'm going to tie in a bow. And add a glue dot to it. So I hope you guys are all having a beautiful day out there. I want this bow to be a tiny bit smaller. So before I put the glue dot on it, I'm gonna tweak it to look like I want it to. There we go. Add a glue dot to the back side. Jeez. Okay, here we go. It's supposed to get up to 103 here today, which is kind of crazy. It's nowhere near that right now. It's actually kind of cloudy and breezy out, so I'm hoping they're wrong about the 100, not 103, 105. Hope they're wrong about that. So Jim came home at lunch and said, I'm going to mow the lawn right now so that I get to it before it gets hot this afternoon. There we go. We have VBS starting at our church tonight, and my daughter's the children's minister, so that's kind of a big deal for us. So we're helping her out with that. I'm going to move that to the side. We're going to do the inside of the card. Now for the inside of the card, let me get all this other stuff out of the way. I stamped this tiny little petal pattern, and I stamped it in crushed curry ink off to the side edge right here. And I just randomly twist it different ways so it looks like it's kind of falling. Petals are kind of falling from the edge right there, like that. And then I'm taking this piece with the daisies. We are staying in the house. We're either in the house or at the pool, Dana, most of the time. So, darn it. Here we go. Let me straighten that out here. It's going to go right across the bottom. Now, the nice thing, Dana, about 103 here is that in Midland, it's typically not humid. So, it doesn't feel quite as hot. I would say 103 in Lincoln, Nebraska feels hotter because you've got that humidity factor in there, right? And hold on a second, I'm chatting and I'm forgetting. I want to stamp, I really appreciate you on the inside of this card. Here we go. Very pretty, isn't it? And then I'm just going to add some adhesive the back side and put this into the inside of my card. And voila, there is card number 1. So simple and pretty, right? Your kindness means everything to me. So that's super fun. Okay, so that was card number 1. Card number 2 was this navy, Night of Navy one. And it was kind of a fun fold. So it opens sideways like this. And it says, your kindness means everything to me, again on the inside. But on the outside, it says, hope your day is filled with everything good. I'm going to show you how I did this. So this is Night of Navy. This is Fresh Freesia. And this paper came from that same Delightfully Eclectic paper pack that I showed you at the beginning. Let me put that away. All right, so here we go. I have a piece of Night of Navy cardstock that is cut 4 1/4 by 11, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. I have a piece of that Delightfully Eclectic paper, and this is cut 2 5/8 by 5 1/2. And then I cut a whole bunch of those bows out of Fresh Freesia, all of the different ones. So there's a couple that look more like flowers. There's one that looks like sprigs. There's one that looks like leaves. I cut them all out, and I cut them out multiple times. So we're going to get back to that. Now, the way I did this fold is that I cut my paper 4 1/4 by 11 and then scored it at 5 1/2. And I'm going to get this all lined up here and use my bone folder to burnish that down. And then I get out my paper trimmer, and you can see 3 bars in is 3/4 of an inch. So I lined that up on the 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm cutting, but just to the score line. There's a little arrow on the side of our cutting blade here. I'm just going to stop it right when it gets to that fold. And then I'm going to flip this over, and I am going to do that one more time on this other side here. But stop it right when it gets to that fold right there. And it's perfect. See, it perfectly went right to the fold right there. Okay, so I'm going to open it all up. So you've got these 2 legs and you've got the center panel here. So on the inside of this, I'm taking a piece of Whisper White that's cut 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to stamp this a couple of times here. First of all, I need to remove the ink from using it on the previous card. I'm going to stamp this in. Make sure my flowers are clean as well. Okay. Why don't we just clean everything, and then we don't have to worry about it, right? All right. So on this piece of Whisper White, I am going to stamp, again, your kindness means everything to me. This time I'm going to stamp it a little to the right side. There we go. And then I'm going to stamp one of these flowers in Night of Navy as well, right there, right next to it. So pretty. You could leave it like that if you wanted to. It is very pretty. But I wanted to bring in a little bit of that Fresh Freesia to the inside. My silly dog is scratching on the door. He doesn't like that I'm in here. So if you can hear that, I apologize. I thought he was going to go outside with Jim, who's mowing the lawn, but okay, there we go. And I just used the light one. And then I'm bringing in the soft sea foam. And I'm using the dark. And I'm just going to color those leaves in right like that. Pretty, huh? Okay, let me crack the door over here for my my dog. Okay, Now he should be happy. Okay, so I am going to attach this right here to the inside of my card with some seal. There we go. And then these two side panels, I'm just going to fold down right over that. So I'm going to add some adhesive to these upper and lower legs here, panels. I'm just going to fold it right down there. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this other top one. And I'm going to fold it right down. It's a little crooked here. Let me straighten that out a little bit. There we go. So that's the inside of my card. Very pretty, right? Okay, and then this top panel, I'm taking this piece from the Delightfully Eclectic paper, and I'm going to attach that right to my front panel, right there, okay? So pretty. I love the floral pattern, the very petite floral in this. There we go. And this time, I cut the larger panel right here. And I don't know, I showed this yesterday, but I don't know how well you could see it. There's a very nice detail. So there's little cross hatches in the middle of each side, and then there's dots around the edges there. It is very pretty. So I'm going to stamp this with Night of Navy. Hope your day is filled with everything good. There we go. That is going to be my main panel. Now you can see on this, I just added a whole bunch of bows to the back side of this. So I have already cut, let me close this up so I don't get my hand in that. I've cut a whole bunch of pieces here. I cut a singular one, a few of those just in case I needed to fill in some place with just something little. I've cut all of these bows out from all the different types of flowers and sprays that you can get in this die set. So these are all just so beautiful. So all I'm going to do is flip this over, and I'm just going to add adhesive to the back. And I'm just going to start adding these bows to the back of this label. Not thinking too much about rhyme or reason. I'm just, and these bars that are on there, boy, those make a huge difference in the ability to get those bows on there and looking the way we want. So you see, I'm just filling in with different types here. I'm going to do the same thing to this other side. And I'm just going to flip it over after I do this, and I'm going to see where I need to fill in spaces. And we're just going to keep going until it looks the way we want it to. So I'm adding. You can kind of slide the bars right and left where you want. I'm going to add, let's see. That will look good to kind of add it right in there. So you guys, I'm literally just grabbing different sprays here and attaching them to the back side. I'm going to cut some of these pieces in half and add them to the top and the bottom. Flip it over. Let's see what we got so far. I feel like we need a little more down here and maybe a little more out here, right? So let's keep going. cut that off. Let's add that right in that kind of empty spot right there. And you can put as many or as few as you want. Yesterday, I cut some, and then I was like, maybe I need a little bit more. So I cut more, and you can do it. I think I've cut plenty today for what we need. And then these little sprays, we can just kind of attach them in here wherever we want. There we go, little space right there. And maybe one right here. And a little space right there. There we go. And you know what? That looks pretty beautiful, doesn't it? Isn't that fun? Okay, so now all I need to do is take this and use some dimensionals right there on the back side and attach it to my card front, and I'm good to go. I'm going to add a few iridescent gems just to give it a little sparkle. And I think this is a really fun fold. I think it'll wow whoever you give it to. First of all of these bows are going to wow them anyway. So there we go. You kind of want it to overlap the top and bottom. And then I have some iridescent gems that we are just going to scatter on here however you want. You know, I'm all about odd numbers, so I'm going to just add gems in different places here. Kind of like to add some on those legs that are top and bottom, because then when they open the card, they're going to be super wowed. So how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That looks good. You can even add more if you wanted to. But I hope your day is filled with everything good. And then it opens sideways and says, your kindness means everything to me. So that was my second card from yesterday. I hope you love that one. And then we have one more card to go. Get these things out of the way and we'll get started on that one. Okay, so the third card was my favorite. And we are using lots of different things here. So first of all, I have already cut out and layered on the back those adhesive sticker sheets, okay? So I've already adhered that to the back side, because when you're using really detailed dies like this one, having that sticker sheet on the back is really going to help us to be able to adhere that to our card front easily. Now, someone messaged me and said, how do you put that onto your cardstock? So this is what I'm going to show you. This paper, this adhesive sticker sheet, comes in 6 by 12 inch sheets, okay? You just cut your cardstock to the size you need, and then you cut your sticker sheet just a little bit smaller than that. And you're going to peel off, there's these lines here. So you're going to peel off this wax paper. And what I do is I do it one little section at a time. So I'm going to lay that down, press it in place. If you do the whole thing, it's going to get sticky and your hands are going to sticky and you're going to have a hard time getting it down on the paper. And so I'm just going to do the next section now. Pull it up and press it down. And then do the next section, pull it up, press it down, right like that. So now that sticky is attached to that cardstock. So when I run my die through this, where did I put those detailed dies? Maybe they're down here with the paper. No, I showed them to you at the beginning. So you're going to put the die right on top of the, that is so weird. Let me look one more time. Who knows? Okay, so you're going to take that die and you're going to lay it right on top right there. You're going to run it through the Big Shot 2-3 times, like keep running it through, running it through, running it through, just to get a really good cut. And then when it comes out, you're going to have to poke all those little pieces out with a poker. It's a little a labor of love, but look how awesome this looks right now. Now, what I'm going to do with that label is that this petaled pattern die is that I'm going to set it on top here. Now, you can see it's too big, right? It's a little too tall. So I took my paper trimmer here, and I'm just going to cut that right in half. And it doesn't have to be exact. It's okay. And I'll show you why in just a minute. So there we go. I cut that in half. And then I'm going to take off the adhesive backing, find a good place to start peeling it off. And it just is very sticky. Makes it into a sticky, sticky sticker. Okay. And got a little fuzz piece there. Okay, I'm just going to lay that right on top, and it is going to adhere right like that. Then I'm going to do the second thing with the next one. Thank you for those of you who are watching this today. I had a kind of a mess of a Facebook Live yesterday, so I wanted a nice, clean, really good video so you could see how beautiful these cards are. It's sad when you work really hard to make beautiful cards and then you can't show them off to people. So I decided to do a redo today, a take 2. All right, so there it is. And you can see they kind of overlap right here, but that is going to be okay. So, because from that 6x6 paper pack of the in color paper, I cut this piece of the Moody Mauve. It just looks kind of like hash marks on the front there, and I'm gonna add adhesive, and I'm just gonna cover up where those two things overlap right there in the middle, like that, okay? And then I've cut 2 circles. I've cut one from vellum, and I cut one from basic white, and these two are gonna layer on top of each other right there in the middle of the card. Now, you don't want to put adhesive where it might show, so I'm just going to put adhesive right in the middle of that Moody Mauve pattern paper, and I'm going to put my vellum circle. This is the largest of the Stylish Shapes dies, right there, the largest circle, and then I cut the basic white panel out of the next smaller circle size. Now, you can get a kit to make all of these cards, 2 of each of them, if you place a $35 order in my online store this week. And you want to go to the Tuttle Up shop, and you want to use host code K34BMUMB. And that will, when you put your order in of $35 or more, I send you a card kit to make 2 of each of these cards. So you would need the stamp set if you want to do yours exactly like mine. You don't have to, but you'll want to if you want to do them exactly like mine. Or you can use your own sentiments. But I tell you what, these dies are super incredible. So you might as well get the bundle. If you get the bundle, your order will be over $50. How cute is that? So I used Moody Mauve to stamp thank you right in the middle of that smallest of the labels from the Timeless Arrangements. And then I tell you what I did. I cut a whole bunch of these again. I cut a couple of them from vellum. I cut a couple from soft seafoam. I cut some boho blue, and I cut some Moody Mauve. Cut all of these colors. I feel like I should have one more. Yep, soft seafoam. And I am taking this thank you, and I'm just going to start loading it up, okay? So I'm going to add this, add some adhesive to the back here. Sorry, my dog is coughing. We found out yesterday he's got a little bit of a heart problem. So they've put him on medicine. It just hasn't kicked in yet. Okay, and it doesn't have to be symmetric around this in any way whatsoever. We're just going to start loading up these pieces. I might want to cut some of them. I love this vellum. I think the vellum was a really nice touch to this. Softened it up a lot. And let's see, I'm going to start adding some of my Moody Mauve pieces here. That one is good. And you can even like tweak it a little bit by moving some leaves around, making sure either you're seeing them or you want to. Like for instance, if I wanted that Moody Mauve to be in front of that vellum, I would just pull the vellum behind it like that. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. There we go. And then add some blue. Now I'm going to cut this apart. This is the boho blue, and I'm cutting it apart because I cut the same bow as the Moody Mauve, and I don't want those to like lay on top of each other and be exact. So I'm cutting this apart, and I'm just adding this boho blue in here, and you can see I'm kind of tucking it behind some of those other colors there, so that it'll peek out. You can see it kind of peeks out. Isn't that so pretty? Okay, I might not even use that other one. I think that one is plenty. Now the last thing I did is I took that flower pattern and I stamped it twice in Memento black ink. Add it here. 1, 2. I'm going to do that one more time. I didn't get that inked up very well. There we go. And I'm going to color this with boho blue blends. Hi, I know. Thanks, Chels. I love these colors too. I think they're so pretty. You know, the ink colors are going to be a big hit because they're very retro. They go so well together. So this is mostly ink colors, the Moody Mauve and the boho blue, and I added a little soft sea foam in there for a nice touch. And then I'm going to go back to my soft sea foam and add the leaves there. And then I'm going to very quickly get the die that coordinates with this flower, which is this one right here. And I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine, which is right next to me right here. So when I line these up, you guys know I like to use this Post-it note tape. I found it on Amazon. If you just look up Post-it note tape, you'll find it. And I just order it every once in a while so that I have plenty in stock. And it really helps a lot. Now that we don't have a magnetic plate, I mean, I still have a magnetic platform. I saved my old one. But if you don't, having that tape is definitely necessary to keep it in place. And I use both because I'm really picky about having my, and something else you can see, this little dot right here lines up with the stem. So as soon as you see that through the hole, you know you've got everything lined up the way it should be. And I'm going to run it through one more time. There we go. You know, my lesson learned is that there's nothing wrong with doing a do-over, right? Everybody needs a do-over once in a while. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to attach it behind so it just kind of sticks out right like that. So let me add some adhesive right here. I think that's a good spot for it. And it may not even be the same spot as my other one. You know, you get these bows on here and then you might realize that you need things in places that you didn't have them on your last card. So I think this one, I want it to show kind of right through here. So again, I'm gonna add, let me look at that from the front. I think I kind of want it to go like that. Maybe a little bit further over here. Like that. That looks pretty, doesn't it? Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that gets added right there. There we go. I'm gonna add some dimensionals to the back side of this one. He's gonna be okay, Kim. My first vet that I got here in Midland was kind of a quack. It was a new vet hospital taking new patients, so I thought, oh, I'll just give him a chance, and it wasn't working. They just weren't very good about following up on what he needed, and so I went to a new place, and I was way happier yesterday. I felt like they knew a little bit more. So he's on 5 medications, but they think he's going to get better, which is very encouraging, right? Okay, so the last thing I did is take out some of our in color adhesive dots, and I'm using the Moody Mauve ones here. You can see I've already used a bunch of the pebbled path. There we go, pebbled path. So I'm just scattering these on to the front of my card here, and just to add a little bling, a little more texture to the front there. Isn't that pretty? And then I would just take a piece of basic white, and we're going to add that to the inside. But this time I decided, which I didn't do yesterday, and I wish I had, to add one of those flowers to the inside here, just to give it something pretty on the inside, right? Don't you think it needs that? I'm going to add my boho blue. So pretty. I love this color blue. This might be the color of my bedroom right now, this boho blue color. And some soft seafoam, because, you know, I'm so trendy on my decorating to match Stampin' Up colors. No, that is not true. I just got lucky. All right. The bedspread I love just happened to be boho blue. But that's how Stampin' Up decides on their ink colors, you know. They follow the fashion trends, ink colors that they know are going to be popular that year, and they bring them in. So I bet you start seeing these ink colors. Isn't that so pretty? So pretty. I love that. This is my favorite by far. So there you go. I am going to move my camera back up, and thank you guys for giving me a second shot here today. And now I feel like I have a video that I'm proud of. So I hope you loved all 3 of my cards. I'm going to show them to you again here. This one, and this one, and this beautiful petal pink one right here. So pretty, right? You can get the card kit for a $35 order, and it'll be enough for you to make 6 cards. So thanks, guys. God bless. Love me, like me, share me out, and I will give away these cards next week to someone who supports me in those ways. So thanks for your comments. Thanks for coming again, and I will see you next Monday. Bye-bye.